Some more things for you to ponder. I got this thought the other night watching Blue Bloods TV series, and Tom Shelby, as the commissioner, was talking to his dad, who one time was a commissioner too. He was talking about an individual that he had to transfer from the area of New York, and he sent him to another area of New York, reassigned him. And what came out in that conversation between him and his dad was why he transferred this lieutenant to another area. He said he thought himself to be a hammer, and every black man was a nail. That stuck in my mind. I wrote it down. I said, Lord, now I kind of understood that. The guy was a racist. He didn't like black men. So he had to reassign him to an area with heavier population of white men, not black men. Because as long as he was in that part of town, was heavily black, he thought himself to be a hammer until he had the right to nail them all. So as I'm putting this together, I'm wondering what would I call this? I don't know yet. All I know is that you're not a hammer. And everything and everybody around you a nail. Don't have to necessarily be, in this case, of this lieutenant. He was a racist. He didn't like black men. So he couldn't justly do his job without nailing every black man. We do the same. Anyone is not of our particular race, our cultures, our secular religious creeds, or our idea of a male or female, we see all these individuals as nails, and we're a hammer, and we have the God-given right to judge them. Do you now? We're warned not to judge at all. But whatever you measure out will be measured back. What came back on that lieutenant? He almost lost his job, but to save his job, he just transferred him to another area of town. We do that. And as I'm pondering this thing about hammer and nails, I said, Lord, my God, we think of Jesus. We think of the two nails in his hands, and the one nail that when he overlapped his feet, he put one big nail, ran right through the 2 feet. 3 nails in the body of the Son of Man, Jesus, represented as the Son of God, giving his life for us. And how the world nailed him. The world, the flesh, and the devil. 3 nails. Then we think of a Jew, Gentile, and the church of God that should know what I'm about to share with you. That you find the greatest judgments coming out of this institutional church, not only to the world, but also to one another. Each one nailing the other, each one thinking that they are a hammer, and they can nail them, not knowing that whatever you measure out will be measured back to you. Well, you're trying to nail this group or that race, that culture, those secular religious creeds, or those men or those women. You're nailing yourself. Because all those judgments are added up. And then this thought came to me. Today, when you see construction work on buildings, the old-fashioned way was to have a single hammer with a multitude of workers, each taking apart, nailing a nail, taking forever. Now with an electric nail gun, they can get done what took 10 people. One man can bang that out. Bang, 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 bang. Electronic nail gun. I said, boy, that's a natural illustration to explain the spiritual truth. All those judgments that you put back will come back at you. All those nails that you hammered onto come back at you, and you get nailed. A play on words. Paul, as Saul, judged the way, the body of Christ. He judged the Gentile world, called them Gentile dogs along with the rest of the Pharisees. And now he sees those of the way, not understanding him, he seeks to judge them. It takes God knocking him off his high horse, taking 14 years in the wilderness to get to realize. And he loses Saul and becomes humble Paul. Instead of judging people, he came as the Son of Man came, not to judge the world, but to seek and save us from our own self-condemnation, biting and devouring one another, judging one another. So think of your judgments that you put out on others being put into a power hammer, to which all your judgments are there, and one day those judgments come back on you like boomerangs, or like a nail gun, and bang, 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 and you wonder why you feel so much guilt and condemnation, because you have judged and condemned, and what you measured out now is being measured back to you. And he warns you, don't judge at all. Whatever you measured out will come back. It'll come back on you and overwhelm you. Who will deliver me from this embodiment of death? Paul and the Pharisees and self-righteous religious people have taught themselves to be hammers, and they were nailing everybody, hammering everyone, judging everyone, not knowing that the power hammer one day would take all those judgments and nail them. Oh man, that judge knows you condemn yourself, you do the same thing. Whatever you measured out is measured back at you, and one day will nail you to the ground. And you will become crucified with the Son of Man, because you're a Son of Man. And he represented you on that cross, and when he got nailed, it was you that gets nailed, crucified, buried, and by the grace of God, through the Spirit of God, you're resurrected to life, to what this one man, once for all, took for you. He was nailed for your transgressions, for your judgments. He didn't come to judge you, thank God, because if he did, we'd all be in trouble. There were those that used to blame the Romans for judging Jesus, or the Jews for judging Jesus, not knowing that you were there that day. You hammered those nails in his hands. We all did it. And ain't no particular race or culture or creed. We all have helped nail the Son of God. If that doesn't stop you from not judging, biting, devouring one another, we doubt the will. Quit judging. This hit home, I tell you. I've been a hammer a good part of my life, thinking to judge those around me. The different races, the cultures, the creeds, the second religious creeds, and opinions of men and women, each nailing one another, hammering one another. If this doesn't stop us from judging. Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? It was Saul in a way to commit some more murder, incarcerate those of the way, and he gets knocked off his high horse, and Jesus says to him, the resurrected Christ speaks to him, to the mind of Christ in him, why you persecute me? We would think, how could he be persecuting Jesus? Jesus was dead and buried. How could he be persecuting Jesus? For I am in these that you persecute. Every time you judge them, you are judging me, who came not to judge, but to seek and save all who were lost. We get an illustration of this coming up out of the Old Testament. When the Jews, off in the wilderness, complaining, murmuring, complaining, judging Moses, and God, out of his mercy and grace, sends them a rock. And out of that rock, which God told Moses, strike the rock once, and water will flow out of it to silence those who murmur and complain. They're given water coming up out of a rock. And later on, they're still murmuring, complaining. And Moses, out of his fleshly anger, not understanding, takes his rod and strikes that rock 3 times. And he's forbidden to enter into the promised land. He's not going to hell. He wasn't allowed to enjoy what Joshua later on enjoys of crossing that Jordan and possessing a land. Has to go up to the top of the mountain and die on this side of the Jordan. You keep judging. Every time you judge, he died for you once, for all. That's what the striking of that rock once was to represent. But when you start judging those around you, you're striking that rock 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. And Paul later in the church of Corinth tells them, we all drank of that spiritual rock in the Old Testament. They didn't understand it. It was a mystery hid to them. But that rock that followed him was Christ. Oh my God. When he struck the rock more than once, out of his own bitterness and anger, we've done it too. We're striking the Son of God, represented as Jesus on a cross, as a rock that followed him. Oh, God, there's so much more to this. I said, Lord, that's enough. I can't bear this. This is, my God, this is powerful. God, I didn't see it from a stupid TV show, Blue Bloods, and it's simply saying that man thought himself to be a hammer and was nailing every black man he could hit. It don't have to be a black man. It could be some other race, some other culture, some other creeds. Opinion about a man against a woman against a man. Judge and judge. There's no temptation taking you but such as common to all. We all do this. And you keep it up. One day you will be nailed, but he does that out of his love for you. He's seeking to save not only you, but every race, culture, creed, or gender you have nailed and thought to judge. Who are you to judge? There's only one law and one lawgiver, God. Who are you to judge your fellow man? Think about it. Ponder these things, brother. God bless.